Hello, hello, you beautiful soul. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Obviously, depending on where you are. But most importantly, welcome back to the Unapologetic You podcast. With me, Kiana van Deursen. I'm still your host. I'm still your coach on sexual authenticity, liberation, and empowerment. And I quickly want to welcome you to this beautiful, beautiful episode that we will be talking about today on the Unapologetic You podcast. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for being here. So, today I want to talk about something that lives very quietly inside so many of us. And it also used to be including me, but it also shapes so much of how we experience ourselves in our day to day life. Let's talk about shame, shall we? And when we talk about shame, most people think of it as something that is happening in the mind. Yeah, that it's maybe a thought or a story that we still think about, something that you can just change if you think differently. But the thing is with shame, it is just not something that exists in your thoughts. Shame is a body experience. It's a full body experience actually, and it lives in your nervous system. It doesn't have much to do with what's happening in your thoughts. Of course, obviously, our thoughts and our stories that we are used to, they fuel shame, definitely. But shame lives in the body. And it lives in the way that your body responds in certain moments. Yeah, often before you even have the time to think. Sometimes you can feel shame, or you might notice it as a tightness in your chest when you speak honestly, or a held breath when desire begins to rise in your body, right? We probably all have experienced that when you get really excited about something and all of a sudden you just hold your breath just for a split second. But maybe it's also that subtle urge to shrink, to pull back, to make yourself smaller when attention is suddenly on you, or the feeling that you want to disappear completely. That is not random. Absolutely not. It's your body that is moving into protection because shame is deeply connected to the nervous system. And when something therefore feels exposed inside of us, or when something feels vulnerable or maybe even too much, the body starts to interpret that as being unsafe. And it responds the only way it knows how. It's totally mind muscle memory, and also like the total muscle memory where your body just does exactly the same things that it is used to doing. Your body might freeze, it might tense, it might numb sensation completely. And the thing about that is that it very, very often just happens without us even realizing it because it becomes automatic. It becomes our automatic response. It's a pattern, a way of being that feels so normal that we don't even question it anymore. Yeah, but over time, this does create distance, and mainly the distance between you and your body, and between you and your truth, between you and the parts of you that want to be expressed. And this becomes especially important when we talk about sexuality, because obviously, this is the unapologetic you. We are going to be talking about sexuality as well, right? Because for so many of us, and also for the Kiana in her past, let's say, shame and sexuality were deeply intertwined. You know, not because something is wrong with our desire, no, or that something is wrong with the things that we want, no, but because of what we learned. Because many of us had moments growing up where something natural, something super innocent, and something curious was met with discomfort. Yeah, it was met with discomfort, something that felt so natural to you. Maybe it was judged, maybe it was shut down, maybe it was ignored in a way that made it feel like it shouldn't exist. Yeah. And even if those moments seemed small at the time, the body still remembers. The body always keeps a score. Always. And not just the body remembers, but the nervous system does too. Yeah. It stores those experiences and begins to associate certain parts of you with unsafety. So later in life, when desire arises, or when you want to express yourself more freely, or when you want to be feeling more freely and seeing more freely, the body then all of a sudden can respond with contraction instead of openness, even though we totally want to be seen more fully. Yeah. Then the body responds with tension instead of flow, with potentially shame instead of safety. And this is where so many people get stuck, because they try to fix this by forcing confidence, by trying to override the feeling, and by telling themselves to just simply be more open. Yeah, let's from all of a sudden now be more open. Yeah, let's be more expressive out of nowhere. Let's be more free. But shame does not dissolve through force. It doesn't disappear just because you push past it. No. If anything, that often creates even more tension in the body because the body is confused. Yeah. Working with shame is a much more gentle process. And it's not about becoming louder. It's not about performing confidence. Sorry. It's about slowly creating safety again. Safety in your body, safety in your desire, safety in being seen for exactly as you are, for the unapologetic you that you are. And that kind of safety is built in small moments. Moments where you notice your body instead of ignoring it. Moments where you soften instead of tightening. And moments where you allow yourself to feel without immediately trying to change or judge what's there, yeah? Because when the body starts to feel safe, even just a little bit, something begins to shift. The parts of you that once felt like they had to hide, they start to open again. These parts get to breathe again. They start to take up space again. And that is honestly where real transformation happens. Not from force, but from safety. So today, I want to leave you with something so simple to sit with. Just a small reflection, yeah? And ask yourself the following question. Where in your body do you notice yourself tightening when you feel exposed? Or when you feel vulnerable? Just notice it. Yeah, there is no need to change it, no need to fix it. Just begin there, right where you can meet yourself. And let's talk about some shame, sexuality, and nervous system a little bit more. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with me on the Unapologetic You podcast. And thank you for listening to my voice. I'm so excited that you're here and that you're willing to begin this journey for yourself, all around sexual authenticity, liberation, and empowerment. I am Kiana van Deurse, your host and your coach, and I'm super excited to guide you on this beautiful journey. Thank you, and see you very soon. Or well, hear you very soon. Adios.